Hey everyone, welcome to Marriage Monday.
We're here and we have extra people. It's not just us anymore. We have my sister, Christy Bartolome.
Hey.
Her husband, my brother-in-law, Yoel Bartolome, our very first special guest.
Yes, on
Extra
Marriage Monday.
special.
Thank you guys.
Very
So they were here on vacation. We put them to work. They are pastors at Motion Church in Puyallup, Washington. And Cindy and I have actually, and not just saying this because you're sitting here, have looked up to you guys because you guys got married a few years ahead of us. And we have
a little bit ahead.
watched you not only in terms of marriage, but also in parenting. And I've learned a lot from you guys and also in pastoring. So to get to introduce you to all of our faithful watchers on Marriage Monday is a real honor. Thanks for
Thanks for
being our first guests here.
I know.
So I know you guys
No
have done a lot of marriage counseling as pastors do. A lot of young couples looking to you guys for advice. What's a few things that you would share with those who are watching here that you would say, man, if you get these things down, no one has a perfect marriage, but you're going to have a good marriage.
Yeah. That's a great question.
Great question.
I think the biggest thing is communication in anything you do in life, but especially in marriage, right? And so the first thing that we try to really take care of is how to have fierce conversations and also how to have conversations that there isn't any punitive matters that when you have them. So one of the things that we learned really quickly is we would ask in a weekly a question is, how did I do on a scale of 1 to 10 in our marriage?
Ooh.
So I would ask my wife, Chrissy, honey, how did I do this week on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being great, 1 being poor.
And I would tell him a 10, of course. I'd be like, depending on the week, I'd
Every
be like,
week?
it's a 3.
Every
No.
week? Wow, Yoel, you're better than I thought.
It gave us that chance, that kind of metric to be able to be honest with each other, but then tell them the second question.
So then
this is where it keeps you in check.
So what
It's
would you
really
say?
important.
Say you say a 7,
I'd
right?
be like a 7 or an 8.
And so the biggest way that we would encourage conversation, and I would say, well, tell me how I can make it a 10 next week. So that gives the door to be open for her to give positive input or maybe input that wouldn't be so positive. And so she would say,
I'd be like, hey, what if we worked on this? So it's not just me giving a critical view and like, this sucks. It's able to say like, hey, this is where we're at and this is where we can improve it together. And coming together. So you can be fiercely honest. And it was kind of those guardrails that were set early in our relationship where we knew this helped us stay on track. But sometimes you bump up against them, but there's safety in having that.
And us, as guys being guys, that said, okay, that gives me something analytically to shoot for, like 7. But it would be better if I did the dishes because maybe her love language is dishes. So and the next week I'll say, if I want to make it a 10, then I'll say I'm going to do the dishes. But then she would ask me the same question is
scale of 1 to 10. What would
and I would
rate?
say, man, most guys always rate it higher, right? Oh, it's a 9, it's a 9, it's 9. But I would say whatever, it's an 8, and then that would give me the ability to give a response.
And then what can I do to make it better?
And so just practicing on that dialogue, John and Cindy, made us understand how to navigate, right?
And honestly, guys, it's kind of awkward and uncomfortable at first, because you take that risk of being really honest with each other, because sometimes we can be not quite as honest, but being really honest, and that causes that growth, which then brings intimacy in your friendship and in your relationship.
Well, and then you're also communicating to each other, I trust you to provide feedback that is for our benefit. And that it's not personal, it's not digging, but I'm giving you feedback because I want to make this marriage better, and vice versa, because we're on the same team.
And
sometimes
Cindy,
you forget that.
What's really cool is doing that also gives me the understanding of what is a win for her. Like, it was a 7 because you did this good, you did that good, but if you can work on these things, just knowing what is good, because what's important. The other thing, can I give a little other?
Absolutely,
we've done?
bring it. That was so good already.
I learned this from another speaker years ago, and this was life-changing. Guys rate everything they do by a lot of points. So what we do is this. We don't do what we're supposed to do, but I'm going to do this one thing that's going to be worth 1,000 points, and I'll make up for it, right?
Everything's 1,000 points.
I learned that in the point system of life, when it comes to a female in a relationship, might be wrong, but I think it's true. Everything's 1 point. So what I did, this is what I learned. Guys, listen to me. I'm going to just help you so much right now.
Why fight it?
So what I would tell Christy early on, I said, honey, 3 weeks from now, we're going to go on a special date. Every time she thought about it in those 3 weeks was a point. Every time she thought, oh, my husband's taking me on a date.
The leading up to it.
Ding.
Point.
Ding. And what guys try to do all the time, I don't know why we're built this way. I'm going to surprise my wife. I'm going to take her to Maui. 1 point. I'm going to go to this huge expensive trip. 1 point. You don't have to do that. All you have to do.
But you can surprise me and take me to Maui. True. I will say yes.
Will you be willing to maybe give a couple extra points?
I will give him 1,000.
So I learned really by having this discussion on a scale of 1 to 10 what was really worth your 1 point, because locking doors at night.
Yes.
Locking your
making the coffee before going to bed.
And I still miss up.
Taking the trash out.
Yes, those are worth all 1 point for.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I would agree with that. I think there's something about having been together, whether you're together 6 months, 6 years, whatever it may be. There's ebbs and flows in your relationship. So what is important to each of us so many years into our relationship, 5 years down the road, it fluctuates.
Yeah.
And I think, and I've heard him say this to people, and I would get kind of crabby. He'd be like, I've been married to like 4 different Christies.
Oh.
And he's actually right.
Right.
Wow.
But let's be
You're
real.
not crazy, but we just change.
No, but
we
like
evolve.
who I am now.
Did that earn your points or subtract your points when you
Multiple
say that?
But who I am now, right? Who
It's
you are
different.
now is different than we were, and we've been together
10 years
26
ago,
years.
20
Yeah.
And I
years
think
ago.
being able to know that and having these times together where you really ask these questions.
Yeah.
We know each other now. We know who we were in the past, and that's wonderful. But being able to really have the pulse on who we are as a person and what's important now is good to have. So it's challenging.
That's
but it's good to
good.
have.
And I don't know, John, Zinni, but strengths and weaknesses, understanding that we both have them and how to exchange those. I learned to also, when it comes to marriage, is to listen to your wife, and she has the best benefit for you. She's just not trying to hurt you.
We'll always have each other's backs.
Yeah, so she'll say sometimes, hey, that person over there, don't hang out over there. That's not a good thing. And I'm like, well, what do you mean?
And as women,
Just
that's
don't.
important to
They
make sure we're on with
tend to
that.
pick up on stuff that you and I kind of miss.
We spot the crazy.
We do.
We spot it. We smell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta
but it's just
we gotta
good.
listen to each other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll just tell her, hey, I don't have time to explain it, but just this is the way I see it. Can you trust me on that?
Yeah.
And that's where it takes trust. But another little thing, I just
Keep
just
going.
one funny thing.
Come on, bring it.
So, guys and women's brains are so different.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe a
So
little.
true.
She early on was able to really understand this about guys. Is I have a nothing box in my head.
It's so true.
Meaning,
He does.
I can literally be watching TV and not watching TV, or not thinking about anything.
Yes,
and
that's
I'm telling you,
very
most guys
true.
are like that. She would look at me like, "Why is he lying to me? What are you thinking?" Nothing.
And I'm like, no, what are you really thinking? Like that, what? I've got a list of 50 things right now.
Right.
So what's on your
Because
list?
we're
He's like,
always thinking about something.
Yes.
Even if we're resting, we're thinking
Yes.
about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And biologically, scientists have proven that's to be true.
Yeah.
And then I also thought, I have to listen to my wife because she's thinking about this 360 degree, viewpoint of things.
Everything's connected.
Yeah, and for
Yeah.
me, I'm like, nah, I could I could make it, where I could think of this one day and I could think of this other thing.
Sure.
And that's why we're great multitaskers.
Yeah, perhaps being more linear in thought. Where
Yeah,
things
we're very
are more
linear.
cyclical with us.
Yeah.
And appreciating that about each other rather
Yeah.
than saying, "Oh my gosh, that's annoying."
Why are you
well,
this
sure,
way?
It's good
Recognizing
to
it.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
There's
massive.
strength in that.
Yeah.
Because he then, in times of stress, is able to go, "Hey, we're going to set this aside.
Yeah.
And right now, we're going to go take a nothing moment. And I need that influence in my life to be able to let go of
Right.
things that really aren't important to
Right.
be stressing about.
Right.
And then vice versa, when there's times we may be together, we need to
Not check
Yeah,
out
yeah.
and engage.
engage.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Wow.
And those are
So
strengths
good.
in each of us to appreciate.
Wow, and you guys, this is really practical stuff
Yeah.
that I want to encourage each of you to put in to practice this week. Thank you guys so much for being our first guest. Hopefully
Special
you can
guest.
be return
Make us
guests
special.
on
We love
future
being here.
Marriage Mondays. But if you have any things that you would like us to talk about on future Marriage Mondays, please put it in the comments below. As always, let us know how we can be praying for your marriages as the
Push
whole
that
goal.
subscribe button.
Yeah, I don't think
Is there a
there's
thing?
but
Smash that.
anyways. As the whole goal is that we will have stronger marriages on the other side of
Yeah.
this pandemic than we did when it
Yes.
started, and we can do that together and through Christ. Let's do this. We can't wait to see you guys next week on Marriage Monday.
It's awesome.
God bless.
See
See you
you
later.
guys.